We put an incredible amount of trust in our medical devices. Our lives, literally. But what happens if that trust is broken? Today, we're diving into a fascinating new research paper that introduces a powerful AI framework built to secure the very technology that keeps us healthy, the Internet of Medical Things.
That's a pretty chilling thought, isn't it? The idea that a pacemaker or an insulin pump, something designed to save your life, could be compromised. So that's the big challenge, right? How do you protect these devices without also compromising incredibly sensitive personal patient data?
And that brings us to the technology at the heart of all this, the Internet of Medical Things, or IoMT. And boy, is it a classic double-edged sword. On one hand, it holds unbelievable promise, but on the other, it introduces some really serious risks.
I mean, the benefits are just revolutionary. Think about it. Doctors getting real-time data from patients, leading to faster, more accurate diagnoses and way better care. But here's the catch. Every single one of those connections is a potential backdoor, and that opens the door to some devastating possibilities, from malware that could shut down a device to the leak of our most private health records.
Now, you'd think AI would be the perfect fix for this, but it turns out there's a pretty significant gap in our current AI security. The tools we have just weren't designed to handle the unique privacy and efficiency needs of this whole medical ecosystem.
So one of the most promising ideas out there is something called federated learning. It's actually a really clever concept. Instead of sending all your private data to a central server to train an AI, the learning happens right there on your device. Your data never leaves your control. It's a fantastic solution for privacy, but, well, it comes with its own set of headaches.
See, standard federated learning can be really slow. It creates this huge communication jam. It can also be unfair, giving more weight to some devices over others. And it's still wide open to some nasty attacks, like data poisoning. What the field really needed was one single, unified framework that could fix all of these problems at once. And that right there is the critical research gap this paper set out to fill.
And the solution they came up with is a new framework called FedGCL. That stands for Federated Graph Contrastive Learning. Think of it as a much smarter defense system built to overcome all those hurdles we just talked about.
At its core, FedGCL was engineered from the ground up to be secure, efficient, and fair. And it pulls this off by cleverly integrating 4 key innovations into one cohesive system.
Okay, this is the really cool part. Let's break down these 4 pillars. First up, learn better. It uses a technique called contrastive graph learning to see the relationships between different bits of data. That makes it way better at spotting tricky malware. Second, aggregate fairly. It uses something called a Jain-index to make sure every device's contribution is balanced. No single device gets to dominate. Third, communicate efficiently. Instead of constant, noisy updates, it uses adaptive synchronization. It only sends data when it's absolutely necessary. And finally, number 4, protect privacy. It wraps everything in layers of advanced encryption inside a trusted, secure environment. It's a complete, elegant 4-part solution.
Okay, so that's the theory, and it sounds great on paper. But the big question is, does it actually work? Well, the researchers put it to the test, and the results are pretty impressive.
Let's just start with the accuracy. FedGCL hit a peak malware detection rate of 98.9%. I mean, that is an absolutely incredible level of security for these kinds of critical devices.
But it's not just about being accurate. It's also about being incredibly efficient. The framework slashed the number of training rounds needed by 45% compared to the standard method. For the real world, that means less energy use, less network traffic, and a much faster system.
And just look at what that means in practice. To hit a really strong 96% accuracy, FedGCL needed just 3 rounds of training. The old baseline method? It needed 6. We're talking double the work. So FedGCL gets to an elite level of performance in literally half the time.
And when you stack it up against other state-of-the-art methods, well, it's not even a contest. FedGCL comes out on top across the board. The highest accuracy, the best overall performance score, and it does it all in a fraction of the time. You don't have to take my word for it. The author's own conclusion really says it all. They highlight FedGCL's promise as a truly secure, efficient, and fair solution for the entire medical device ecosystem.
So let's just boil it all down. What are the big takeaways here? FedGCL is the total package. It gets to a higher accuracy, and it gets there faster, all while integrating these novel mechanisms for security and fairness. This really isn't just a small step forward. It's a comprehensive framework that directly tackles a major, well-documented gap in IoMT security research.
And that really leaves us with one final fascinating question to think about. As powerful frameworks like FedGCL become the new normal, how is this new level of secure, intelligent AI going to fundamentally redefine the future of healthcare as we know it?